New tonight at 10, a teacher at Northside High School in Fort Smith now on administrative leave after controversy sparked surrounding a test question the school district says was inappropriate and offensive. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer breaks it all down tonight.
Robert Taylor has been a teacher at Northside for more than 23 years. He recently shared a passage with his American literature students from Warriors Don't Cry, a book written by one of the Little Rock 9 members.
With common discussion and common ideology to get together to love and forgive and move forward with all of that. It's a powerful message, and I thought this was a good opportunity for me to share that with the students.
Taylor tested students on the book, saying he got the questions from a school-approved artificial intelligence program.
I gave the state standard that I was trying to address and the goals the students were to do. The purpose was to get those questions prepared so that I could get this very complicated topic put before the students in a fashion that quickly works.
One question asking students to identify a literary device from a quote in the book included a racial slur spelled out in full. The result of AI, Taylor says.
They even trained us on how to use this. At no point did they ever say that there will be words that come out that could be deemed inappropriate, but these are the actual words of the text, so I imagine that must be why the AI did that.
Taylor says he didn't have time to go over the test questions entirely after AI generated them.
I'm not a particular fan of sanitizing history. I'm not a particular fan of people taking words from the history and removing them. Literature is all about great conflict. You cannot have great literature without great conflict. If I remove these words, there is no conflict. You cannot see, you cannot feel the hurt. I get gut punched when I hear those words.
He now has attorney Joey McCutcheon representing him.
Those words were taken from actual texts of Melba Bills, and that's true history. And if this district is suggesting that he censor true history, I think that's wrong. This man to be called a racist is unfair, unjust, and anyone who says that don't know what they're talking about. He's a man who complies with state standards.
The incident sparked backlash on social media. Audrey Griswold is a Northside alumni upset over what happened.
It breaks my heart because Northside is one of the most diversified schools.
She says she feels this word can cause harm in what's supposed to be an educational environment.
He should have blocked it out, but what he really should have done was chose another message.
And she says the word has different meaning to her due to lived experiences.
Every day we went home, we were called those names by adults and children. And sometimes after school we would have to fight. But I feel like this time we're going to fight in a different way, not physically, but together as a city.
In Fort Smith, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
In a statement tonight, Fort Smith Public Schools says in part, quote, appropriate steps are being taken to ensure accountability at Fort Smith schools will continue to uphold the highest standards of professionalism and respect, adding the district remains dedicated to fostering an environment where every student and staff feels valued and respected. Also new tonight, a Madison County man facing charges after deputies say he shot at a power crew. It happened this morning near Hinesville. According to the sheriff's office, the crew was called out after a person reported an electrical issue. After finding nothing wrong by a nearby power pole, they tried to make contact at the front door of the nearby home. Deputies say a man, Jason Pettypiece, opened the door, pointed a gun at the crew and fired a shot. After deputies arrived, they say Pettypiece went into his home and barricaded himself. After a short negotiation, the sheriff's office says the man left the house and then was arrested. Right now, police in Fort Smith continue searching for a man who held up a smoke shop on Rogers Avenue. Police say it happened Wednesday night at Cloud 9. We're told the man entered the store, pointed a firearm at the cashier and demanded cash. He ran after hearing police sirens. He took off with cash and other items. He was wearing this black jacket that you see here, blue shirt, mask, gloves, and sunglasses. If you know anything about this case, please call Crime Stoppers at 78-CRIME. Hot Springs Sheriff Scott Finkbeiner now pleading guilty to federal charges. He was originally facing 6 federal charges related to a drug investigation. 5 of those were dropped in exchange for his guilty plea. It all stems from a 2023 investigation when the FBI began investigating a man named Kenneth Smith for being involved with illegal drugs and narcotics. Well, the FBI believed he was involved as well, and then when asked about it, he told them Smith was an informant for the sheriff's department, helping to make other drug arrests. The FBI says they found no evidence of that claim. Also tonight, search continues for a missing 16-year-old from Wisconsin. We've told you about this case the last couple of weeks or so. Sophia Franklin is believed to be with 40-year-old Gary Day, a man from Lonoke County, Arkansas, who's allegedly also the unborn baby's father. It's believed that Day drove to Wisconsin to pick up Franklin. All of this is why authorities have now issued an Amber Alert in Wisconsin, Missouri, and in Arkansas. Police believe they could be in a 2014 black Buick LaCrosse you see there on the right with Arkansas or Pennsylvania license plates. If you spot them, call your local police department or 911 right away. Volunteers plan to continue searching for Justin Baker, the man police say was in a vehicle that crashed into the Arkansas River near Muldrow last month. OHP says the 2 other people in the car were taken to the hospital and treated for their injuries. From Oklahoma to Fort Smith, volunteers searched the Arkansas River for Baker again today. They were brought together by Revamp. It's an organization that supports the families and law enforcement agencies who are helping in cold cases and missing person searches. They're using sonar technology to try to spot anomalies in the water. A diver was also on board in case any suspicious signs showed up. Casey Hargrave donated his time and boat to the cause, knowing the pain of losing a loved one is all too well.
I lost my son. Community support got me through the initial loss. So, I feel great sympathy for Kelly, and I'm glad the community's out helping. So it says a lot for Fort Smith and Oklahoma.
The Highway Patrol is leading this investigation. They tell us there are still no new developments since day one. New at 10 tonight, Oklahoma's governor says he'll stop a plan pushed by the state's top education official to collect the immigration status of children when they register for public schools. State Superintendent Ryan Walters pushed that proposal, which was approved by the State Board of Education last month. Well, Governor Kevin Stitt says he is a staunch opponent of illegal immigration, but added policymakers should focus on targeting those in the country illegally who commit other crimes. Now, the governor also replaced 3 of the Board of Education members who approved this rule, saying he's frustrated by the idea that children were being used as, quote, political pawns. In Little Rock today, state lawmakers are looking to add nitrogen gas to the methods of execution for death row inmates. It would be added to a list that's already includes lethal injection and electrocution. Bill was just introduced to the House today. Alabama pioneered using nitrogen gas executions last year, and so far, 4 people have been put to death by the use of it in the U.S. States have been looking for new methods as pharmaceutical companies restrict selling the drugs needed for lethal injections. Right now, there are 25 people on death row in Arkansas.
The system has become too complicated, too woke, and far too often doesn't fully prepare students for the jobs of the future.
That was Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders today as she talked about her latest new initiative, this time in regards to higher education for students. She says it'll be similar to the LEARNS Act, but will allow students the ability to choose their path to success after high school, but also make sure high school students don't have to pay out of pocket for taking college courses. It would also increase scholarship funding and offer in-state tuition for military families.
We're going to be looking at increasing the opportunities that they have before them, and then we're going to be maximizing their outcomes and so they can be as successful as they can possibly be.
Doing the same thing the same way and expecting a different result is not going to cut it.
Governor says the legislation should not cost any additional funding. If it is approved, she'll repurpose money that's already in the budget.